fucking, did you see
Mind
that
blown.
shit? Yep, let's do it.
Groovy. What is your name and what do you do?
My name is Uma. I am a software engineer at Microsoft.
How did you get into tech?
Started off in aerospace engineering in college and switched to software engineering my third year in.
How many years have you been coding?
I have been coding professionally for about 4 years, so since 2017. I think 5 years actually, yeah.
Okay. If not tech, what other career would you have chosen, if you know?
That is a very interesting question. I would have probably been doing something engineering, some form of engineering, so probably maybe mechanical or civil. I like solving complex problems. So
Have you always been detail orientated?
I have always been detail oriented, yes.
I can tell.
Yeah.
What prompted you to start making videos on the internet?
I genuinely love what I do. I love programming, I love coding. I have a passion for it and realized it's only right that I share that passion with the world and with people who want to listen. There is an audience for something, and I feel like making videos will help me find my audience and just relate with them and relate with more people who have a passion for what I do.
Do you desire to teach one day?
I love teaching, yes.
Yeah.
I do desire to teach, yes.
I can tell. Do you have any regrets when it comes to programming?
Probably that I started sooner, honestly. I feel like I would have learned, I would know more, I would know a lot more, but again, I also realized that with timing, it's different. Like everything happens at the right time, and so that would probably be my only regret, just probably starting sooner.
How much sooner if you could have chosen or
Well,
had the control?
I started off in aerospace engineering, right? So I spent 3 years of my life doing aerospace engineering, which I genuinely enjoyed, by the way. I just thought maybe if I started off doing software, then maybe I would have had more time. I guess I wouldn't have had to spend more time in college. I spent like 6 years in college, so yeah. Yeah, I saw that face.
I was like, whoa. What is your favorite programming language?
Probably Java. Java. It's kind of like a universal programming language. So pretty.
Is it open source?
Huh?
Is it open source?
No, Java is not open source. No, totally not open source. But it is good. It is made for. It works with everything, and it's relatively easy to learn. It has the main core concepts, and everything is there for a reason. You can see why it's there, unlike Swift. But,
Right.
yeah.
I'm not going to attack a Swift. Of all the projects that you've done, which one is your favorite and why?
Probably Optil app. It's a web app. It's a mobile app I created that just helps you keep track of countdowns that you have coming up, just like a mini calendar. I like it the most because it's on the App Store. It's out there. You know, it's the one that I probably pushed through the most, like the one that I went the most with. Well, how do I explain this? The one that I put in the most time to do, pretty much, and I completed it. So if you're going to create an app, it should be on the App Store, right? And it's the only one that I've seen through
to the end.
To the end, pretty much, yeah.
How long did it take you?
The first iteration took me 2 weeks, and then the next iteration took me about a week. But because I had to make a video about it and all of that, it took me longer. It took me about a month for the second iteration.
Would you consider that a long time to create an app?
For an individual, no. It usually takes people way longer because there's a lot that goes into it. There's the UI design, then there's a programming, then there's a testing and all of that. But companies have like people, like tons of people to do this for them. So
teams.
That's what they call them. Yeah.
Those people, groups of people.
Yeah, groups of people are called teams. Yeah, they have those. So yeah.
What do you dislike about programming, if anything?
If anything, the fact that it's what I like about it, but also what I dislike. The fact that it's very abstract. Like you have to think.
You dislike that?
Yeah, it's like I tell you 1 + 1 is 10, and you have to believe that because that's what it is. You understand what I mean? It's not like, it's not regular. It's not normal. Like it's very particular. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. Why do you dislike that though? The abstraction.
It makes it hard for regular people to get into. You understand what I mean? Like I like it because it's that way, but then it's hard for people to wrap their head around. Yeah.
Did it initially make you uncomfortable when you're learning?
No, I knew if people had done it, then I would do it. Like it wasn't gonna be like, I'm definitely gonna do it. It didn't make me uncomfortable. It was tough at first, but once I got used to it, I just got used to it.
It was easy.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite part about programming?
The fact that you can build anything, literally. Like I could.
Limitless.
Yeah, limitless. Exactly. You could work with. You could be working in mobile apps one day. The next day, you could go work for the fucking FBI. Excuse my French. You could go work for the FBI.
Your channel. You're fine.
Yeah, you could go work for the FBI. You could go work for, you know, like newscasting organization. You could work for in the food industry, you know, like you could just do
So
anything with it.
employability
Yeah,
is vast.
exactly, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I
awesome.
love the most about it. Yeah.
Do you know where you want to go with it in terms of, let's say, 5 years? Since you can go anywhere, like as great as the FBI or something as quote unquote simplistic as DoorDash, right? Do you know where you want to go with it?
Not completely. I do know I like the fact that I can do anything. I do want to explore other things, like I want to explore low-level programming. So making computer operating systems, right? Like the operating system that your phone, that your computer, your laptop, your Apple, your Mac runs on. That's a whole different sector of programming that I would want to explore. Just want to try to explore everything, honestly. Yeah.
Do you have any projects that you're working on now that you want to tell us? There it is.
There's not right now. I'm working on something interesting, but not right now. Yeah.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Recording?
Yes, sir. Light mode or dark mode?
That's a really good question. A lot of programmers love dark mode. I'm the opposite. I like light mode because of the contrast. Like I've tried dark mode. It's just I can't quite see. It doesn't. It just feels off. You know, just a little bit off. A lot of people will come for me in the comments, but I do like light mode. In all my text editors, my laptop, I use light mode all the way.
You don't find it harsh on the eye?
I do after a little at 4 a.m. while you're looking at it. It is harsh on the eyes, but I don't know. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird relation. I tried it. I tried to do the whole dark mode thing. It just wasn't working out for me.
Okay, that's fair. Do you prefer working on a team or individually, and why?
Mixture of both, honestly. Like when I'm developing an idea, right? Say I'm coming up with like an architecture to like, you know, do something to a system, right? Like design a flow that goes from one place to another place. I like working alone, right? Like, okay, this is how I see this problem, this is how I solve it. Then take it to a team and be like, hey, this is my idea, let's make it better. Or another person works alone by themselves, brings their idea, and then we collaborate on an idea. So
you value collaboration?
I value collaboration, but I like working alone. But I value collaboration a lot.
And you value insight from others?
I value insight from others because if you left to me, everything I make is the best thing in the world.
He's like, I am it.
Exactly. But when other people see your work and they, you know, chime in on, hey, this can be better, or that can be better, or maybe you should do this, or, you know, you just get insights that you never even thought about, just ways to make it better.
Okay. Did you have to go into your first role knowing advanced topics like architecture and system design?
No, not knowing, but having an idea of, right? Okay. So there's a lot of information that's out there that you should at least have seen, like brushed through, like, okay, I may not know how to design like Uber, but how is the current Uber design working, right? Get a high level of that so you can then use that experience to then design other systems. So I didn't quite know everything, but I had an idea of, okay, I know if I needed a web app, I knew where, like what tech stack to build it on, where to deploy it, how to make sure, you know, it doesn't go down, you know, how to add like load balancers to balance traffic. I knew those things. I didn't know how to do it. I just knew of them. So having a general idea of understanding those concepts, but not necessarily knowing everything in those concepts.
Would you consider those basic concepts to know that are better equip you to go in?
Yes, okay. Definitely. Those are basic concepts that you should know, or like have a rough idea of, right? Like, not know fully, but just
like having a toolkit.
Yes, just be aware of. Yeah.
Sure. When it comes down to responsibilities, what is the difference between working in a small company versus a big one?
It all depends on the company style and the company culture, but at the end of the day, a lot of them are very similar in terms of you're writing code, you're working on a feature, you're working on a story. It's the same, right? It's either fixing a bug or adding an enhancement to something. But I think the major difference is in smaller companies, you're giving more of a responsibility, right? Like, hey, if this small thing goes down, you're responsible for. It may be small, but you're responsible for a lot. You understand what I mean? Like a big part of, like, maybe you're responsible for the landing page of the website, the part that people see, or you're responsible for this thing. But in a bigger company, you're just like a minion in the whole scheme of things, right? Where
you're a small part of a big picture.
Exactly. What you are working on is definitely important. That's
significant,
why,
yes.
Yeah, they're spending money on you, but in terms of like the impact it's making, it's small. In the grand scheme of things, we're working in a small company. It's big because they're a smaller company.
Okay, but that being said, startups or big tech?
Startups for sure. Startups, yes, startups. I I'm founding a startup, part of a founding thing for a startup, Candor, shameless plug, candid conversations that opens doors. Check us out, candor.io. I like the idea of startups because you're building something that never existed from scratch, right? It's designing. It's a form of artistic expression by itself, where this thing never existed. How do I create this platform that helps people do this, or how do I create this platform that solves this problem, or how do it's like an artist painting on a canvas, right? Like it's just putting pieces together and making it work, then making it more efficient over time and time and time and time. But big tech is already pre-established. So yeah,
it's already there. That being said, do you value creative independence?
Yes, very much.
A lot.
Very much. Tell me what you want me to do, don't tell me how to do it. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. How do you prepare for a technical interview?
One word, practice. Just do as much practice as possible, because at the end of the day, the questions have patterns, and once you do enough, you'll see the patterns in the problem, and then you will start to then realize that, hey, this thing is, this is just that problem, just a different form. Or this is this problem, just a different form. So the more you practice more questions, the easier it pretty much becomes, and then you just become better at what you do, because, again, it's just the patterns. Yeah, practice.
If I were to start tomorrow, what advice would you give me going into this industry?
The hardest part is starting. I will tell you that. So start.
I like that.
Start. Just once you open that computer, sit down there, start. It won't make sense for a long time, but sticking with it is where a lot of people seem to fall off, right? Like any other thing, it doesn't make sense. You're new at it, right? You're starting at it. That stage of not understanding, being in that uncomfortable stage of just, hey, this doesn't make sense. I don't even get how do things link? Just stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. And eventually things will start to make sense. And once they click, that's pretty much it, honestly.
Is that the mentality you held when you pushed yourself through your app to make sure that you finished it?
Yeah, honestly, because a lot of stuff that when I read, like a lot of things I'm doing, like the apps I make, the website I make, I completely don't know what I'm doing when I'm starting it, right? It's just, I'm just working based on vibes. Like, I'm just like, hey, there's an app that's like this. I want to make mine so I know what happens behind the scenes. And it won't make sense for the first 4, 5, 6 days, but eventually I will make something that ends up on the App Store. I don't know how long it'll take, but I will do it. And I eventually always find my way doing it, yeah.
How much have you pulled, in terms of influence, how much have you pulled from other apps that you've seen and other system architecture that you've seen?
A lot,
okay.
A lot. Like, I'm actually thinking about starting a series called Behind the Scenes, where we pick like a mobile app or a web app or a company's product and just dissect how we think it's working behind the scenes. You understand what I mean? Because a lot of these like apps, for example, you may think Uber is simple, but it's very complex behind the scenes, right? You come up with this design, then there's a problem, right? Then they iterate over the design to solve that problem. Then they iterate over the design and before you know it, it's just this complicated system that has specific use cases, right? And so I want to pick companies, pick apps, pick products like that and just figure out, hey, how is this working behind the scenes? So yeah, to just genuinely understand it and then have people be like, oh, well, you didn't think about this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Well, we can tweak the design for it to do this. So I take inspiration from a lot of design. Even the UI stuff, I suck at UI and like user interface design. So I just go on like, what's the name of the site? Behance, I think. I go on Behance and a few other places and just look at people's inspiration. Or I just hire someone to do it for me.
Behance is cool.
Yeah, someone who's definitely way more skilled, and then they just give me the design, tell them the functionality, and do that. So I get inspiration from a lot of apps, yeah. Okay.
What?
I was dancing like a penguin. Okay.
I pressed record. You're funny. Okay. What are your thoughts on self-taught programming versus bootcamp or getting a computer science degree?
Just because of today's society, I would say if you can get a degree, get a degree. It will save you a lot of troubles, like a lot of stigmas that come with it. Do I believe in it? No, I believe if you learn something and you can apply it, then
it's good enough.
That's all that matters. But because of today's society, there are a lot of people who don't necessarily believe that, and there's a lot of bottlenecks in situations where you're clearly qualified, but because you don't have a piece of paper, exactly. So If you can get a degree, get it. If you can't, it's not a blocker. There are people who have jobs today who don't necessarily have a degree, and there are people who have jobs that are doing stuff that is not with their degree, right? So if you can find a way to learn it, whatever way you can, probably if you're low on funds, do a boot camp.
Okay.
They do have programs where you can get scholarships, or you pay them when you've gotten your first dev job, which is really good. So
Oh.
yeah.
That's very cool. I like that jacket.
I like it, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So, some personal questions. Do you experience burnout? And if you do, what do you do to relieve stress?
I definitely experience burnout. I do. It's phenomenal. I definitely experience burnout.
Before you get to the part where you relieve stress, what is it that gets you so burnt out? Like, what gets you to the point of like, wow, it's time to take a step back?
just doing a lot. Just
Okay.
like in as much as I like what I do, it takes a lot of mental energy.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? It takes a lot of me figuring out, okay, how do I try to make this as good as I can? How do I try to make this better? How do I try to fix this problem? How do I it's a creative process, like this, what we're doing now, and also at work, right? Like, if I'm gonna write code, it's not gonna be basic. Like, it's gonna be the best version of it can, and it takes me thinking and thinking through it, and then I overthink it, and sometimes I overextend myself mentoring people and just
Sure.
being like, okay, I haven't had time to sit down today. It's just been talking, and so just that continuous effort of doing and doing and doing.
Perpetual thinking.
Yeah, just it's what makes.
How do you
me burn out.
relieve that stress?
First one is stepping back and reprioritizing.
Okay.
So what is important right now, right? I need to take care of myself. So what can I let go for now? Giving myself time and space to breathe. And the other one is traveling. Just
Okay.
stepping away from the area, the comfort zone where you
Yeah.
feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and then going somewhere else and doing something different. And the last one is sports. I love being active. Play a lot of tennis, play a lot of basketball, lift a lot of weights. Just helps me stay fit and keep fresh.
What's your favorite workout?
Squats. I like squats.
Really?
I love squats.
Why?
Because I'm built for squats.
Okay.
I'm just built for squats, and
Okay.
it's a total body workout as well
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the energy you're using.
Mm-hmm.
Just anything lifting heavy, deadlifting. I really like those. Yeah.
Cool.
Squats.
Other than coding, what are some of your hobbies?
I love cooking. I love cooking.
That's a fact. I've tasted your banana bread, was it? The first day we met?
Exactly. I love.
And banana bread is tricky.
Yeah. You have to mash the bananas to the right consistency.
There you go.
You have to use the right amount of sugar, otherwise it just tastes too sweet. You have to
Right.
add some cinnamon for a little bit of kick. Like I just love experimenting with new recipes, just trying things out. I like reading and sports, watching sports. I don't have a favorite team, but I just like watching good sports. Like I
Yeah.
could watch a
Yeah.
good game. It doesn't matter.
Good
the team.
energy.
Exactly.
Centered
Yeah.
around good game.
Exactly.
Good competition.
Yeah.
What are you reading at the moment? You said you like reading.
Clean Code. I don't remember the author's name, but
Okay.
it's about how the code you're writing should be clean, pretty much. Like the specific standards you should take, you should name things properly rather than naming something like A. For example, you can name it number of days elapsed. Like, you understand?
Sure.
Like giving it reasonable names so that if someone is reading through the code,
They'll
understand it easier. And Atomic Habits, which is a book about how to build better habits, pretty much better habits that last.
Starting small.
Yeah, exactly.
Building on to bigger habits that are greater. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've heard about it. I haven't read it, but I've heard it's great.
Pretty good book.
Where's everybody flying to? What TV shows are you currently binging?
I started The Good Place yesterday.
Okay. What's it about?
It's about this woman who died and went to heaven, which is the good place.
Okay.
However, there was a mix-up where she wasn't the one supposed to be there. Someone with her exact first name and last name
No way.
went to the bad place, and she's in the good place. And then she says, I can speak. As she's in the good place, she's not good, so she's doing bad shit, like being mean to people, and it's now messing up the whole energy of the whole place. Yeah. So
Is it on Hulu or Netflix or?
it's on
HBO?
Netflix. It's on
Okay.
Netflix. It's a pretty good show.
What's the best show you've watched?
Money Heist all day,
Why?
anytime. properly written,
Okay.
properly, like the characters played into it. Is just a very great show. Money Heist. Like, I can't recommend it enough. It's super good.
So
Super, super
100% recommend.
good. 100% recommend. Like, there's some tragedy in there, but not enough to like be like, okay, I don't watch this show. Then there's comedy, there's action. It's just really good.
Bet. Speaking of characters, okay, let's first go to Marvel or DC.
Marvel, all day. Marvel, all day.
So, are you biased, like 100%, like you won't watch any DC
Oh no, I've
movies,
seen.
or you're just like, I appreciate the Marvel Universe a lot more than DC?
I appreciate the Marvel Universe a lot more. I feel like it's being a little bit more thought out. I know people may come for me, but I just, I didn't read both comics. I didn't read both comics, right? Coming from a person who didn't read both comics,
Me neither.
I think the Marvel, it's a lot easier to break into than the DC.
Okay.
There's the storyline for the movies are just, it's like you leave a DC movie, like I left Aquaman, for example, saying, all right, this is a good movie.
What?
But you leave Marvel being like, fucking, did you see
Mind
that
blown.
shit? Exactly.
Heart in the bun.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Riveting.
yeah, that's why
Explosive.
I'm more Marvel than
Makes
DC.
you question a lot of
Exactly.
things.
Like, how
Touche.
did they link this movie that happened 4 years ago into
So when
today?
we were
Exactly.
tiny and now all of a sudden we're grown and the whole
Exactly.
story makes
It
sense.
just
It
links
takes
up.
you on a lifetime trip.
It really
I'm
does.
here
It
for it.
really
Are you going to
does.
see the Batman movie?
I am going to see the Batman movie very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
So who's your favorite character in Marvel?
Iron Man. Iron
Why?
Man.
Really?
Yeah, the tech.
Nobody.
Yeah?
You're a tech.
The
guy.
tech, like, imagine that feature where you be like, well, I think there was a scene where he sent a suit to go get Spider-Man. Have you seen the movie? Like, he pretty much just sent a suit to go get
Yep,
Spider-Man. Like,
I
it's
remember.
just so good. Like, from the
He's like,
first
"I'm not
Iron
actually
Man
there."
to the exactly, yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, I'm in Dubai on something, and it's
Chilling.
and exactly, like the connection was just so
That's
good. So
crazy.
yeah, definitely Iron Man. Like, I also think Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. embodied the role.
Absolutely.
He embodied
There
it.
was
Like,
no better. No.
like, I don't think anyone else could have done it as well as he did. Honestly, like the way he did it, it was so good, so good,
He was phenomenal.
so good.
I don't know if anybody could have played it with the amount of arrogance that was necessary.
Exactly.
Like I was
exactly.
like, because he's an asshole.
Exactly.
We like him.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is 100%.
Yeah.
I'm there for it. Character do you find most relatable to you outside of Tony Stark because of his like tech-centered focus? Like, what character would you say, oh, I align with them? Whether it be based on like characteristic, personality, morals, all of the above. Anything.
I like the Hulk.
Okay. Why?
He's
Love him.
big, but when he's not, but he's gentle. Like he's
Gentle giant?
just a smart dude who
Yeah.
also has this thing. Like he's a scientist, right?
Yeah.
Smart. But he's also big and smashes stuff. I like that.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. Hulk
Fucks
smash.
everything up in 2
Exactly.
seconds.
I like Black Panther as well.
Okay.
Because it was something that was needed for the culture.
Yes.
Definitely.
We
does.
need a representation.
Yeah.
It's just
The
that
movie
simple.
was also good because it was like I heard Hausa in the movie.
Okay.
Like the language that I speak back home from my
Okay.
Nigerian folks.
That's awesome.
I heard that in the movie, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like they were faking it. Like, nah, legit
Yeah.
Hausa. Like I could like, it was so good. So I just thought that whole movie and that whole sequence was good. So
That's
Black
dope.
Panther and Hulk, yeah.
A little bit more of a techie question. We'll take a step back real quick. Do you think that we will? You alluded to like this imagining a world where like you've created so much technology. Technology, in essence, runs
The world.
our
yeah.
universe. The way that Tony Stark has, the way he appreciates it, treats it, how everything that he has involves technology. Do you think we'll get to that point? And do you think it's healthy for us as people? Like, because we're just going to a more tech-centered universe as time
Yeah.
passes, and everybody promotes it. But do you not think that there's like a part of you
That's
that's
a hard
makes that-
question. A part of
It
me
is. I'm not bad.
likes this. I don't know if you can pan the camera. Can you pan the camera and just
I
just
can make
from
it
the
so.
handle? Yeah. Just
No, I'm just gonna turn it.
yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it.
Like it's a father playing with his children, like
Right.
not tech stuff. You understand what I mean? Part of me likes that. I think it's definitely there should be a space for it.
Okay.
Do I still want to see a world where Teslas are driving themselves? Well, Teslas are driving themselves, but everyone has one or an affordable electric car that just
drives?
Drives itself because it is safer. Technically speaking, it is safer. I know you won't, I don't know, a lot of people may not
I
agree
have my
with this.
reservations. I'm not going to disagree,
It
but I
is
have
safer.
reservations.
Like statistically speaking, they are safer, right? So a world where tech is used to make our lives easier and better and less for gain of money and severing that human connection. So where like, oh, rather than coming to spend time with you, I FaceTime you all the time. No, let's spend time together, right? Like less tech like that. Obviously
Why? If I
with the
can send a
metaverse.
hologram, touch you. That's the part that I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Like why do that hologram when we can when we should
Be
meet in
together.
person,
Yeah.
hands, hold hands, touch, you know.
Yeah.
But I think there's a balance. I want a balance definitely, but I don't think technology I don't want robots to just be running the world and stuff like that because there's a lot of interesting economics that goes into it as well, right? As to who will start doing what when the robots take over. So I think it's a balance. Yeah, we can sit down and have a whole conversation about this, but
Yep.
yeah, it will be super, super interesting. Yeah.
Dope. The fun times.
Is it
Cool.
recording?
Yes, sir.
You see the red dot?
Yes, sir. All right. This is the fun time. Let's get into the
Fun
fun
one.
Who is your favorite stand-up comedian?
Cat Williams.
We're gonna let the plane go. Just try that all. Not brain salts.
My favorite stand-up comedian is Cat Williams. By I don't know. He makes jokes that you relate to. Like a lot of it is stuff that he doesn't make up. It's like with the election, right? He'll say to you like, oh, you know, like just funny stuff. Like I can't remember some of them. Like he makes jokes about like smoking weed. It's just like his experiences that he makes really funny.
Yeah.
And it's not just stuff that's out of the blue. I think he's very relatable in that sense.
Do you think that comedy is important in helping people digest what's real? Because a lot of the time comedians will make commentary about things that are real life, right? Elections, fucking what's happening anywhere in the world that's controversial. Like the way comedians make light of that, do you think that's important for people to be able to be like, okay, this is real, but it's okay?
There are fucked up shit that's happening. Well, there are messed up stuff that's happening.
Say what you
and at the end of the day, what happens is a lot of this stuff, like, we don't talk about it enough, right? And if a comedian comes through and just makes you relate to it and makes you laugh about it, right? Then maybe we can then open dialogues about talking about it. Like, oh, yeah, man, that thing that happened was messed up, right? Like, but yeah, like it was funny a little, but it was messed up. And we Nigerians, we use humor to cope.
Yes.
Yeah, like Nigerians use humor to cope.
Which can be good and a bad thing. But
because like the whole country is fucked up, but like we just laugh everything off.
We're like that too. South Africa? What?
Exactly. Yeah, we laugh everything off. Yeah, we're just like, man.
Corey.
Exactly.
Corey.
So I think humor is definitely very important. Yeah, and yeah, like there's a case for serious stuff and there's a case for like humor. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who is your favorite musician at the moment?
Fireboy.
Really?
Fireboy, yeah.
Why?
Saw him last week Friday. Live. Yeah, he was here. He was like,
wasn't that on Monday?
Sorry, last week Monday. I don't know.
Monday,
it was on Monday. So good, not Friday.
Sick as a dog.
Saw him last week Friday. Fireboy, so good. He is
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Like his music, the lyrics they're so relatable, and it's also his vocals. He's so good, and the performance he had on Friday was so good as well. He makes broken English with like R&B, which is
pure.
It doesn't get any better than that with the lyrics as well. Yeah.
Okay, so then with that, what song do you currently have on repeat?
Oh,
doesn't necessarily have to be by him.
No, it's not by him. This one came out. I think it's called Finesse.
Which one?
Finesse. If I broke, now my business. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's pretty good. It's just a vibey song, honestly. Okay. Yeah, it came out like last week, and it's been on repeat ever since. Yeah.
Oh, it's new.
New, like last week. Yeah, new.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta listen to it. Yeah. What is your favorite sport?
Basketball. I would probably say basketball. It's the sport that I spend the most time playing. I am currently playing
more than tennis.
Tennis, cumulatively, like I spend more of my life playing basketball than any other sport.
Got it.
So I am currently playing tennis. You know, learning the swing, learning the footwork, and all of that. But yeah, basketball I will say is my
Who's your favorite basketball player?
Braun.
You said LeBron.
It's not even a question. Like,
do you think he's a GOAT?
I think he's a GOAT. I definitely think he's a GOAT.
Over Michael?
No, not over Michael. We are not going to have that debate on this channel. We are not going to do that.
It's like, not today, folks. That's funny. Which YouTuber would you like to work with? And why?
Okay, there's sectors to this.
Okay.
There's YouTubers like MKBHD, who, do you know who that is?
What?
You don't know MKBHD?
No.
So there's YouTubers like MKBHD who just make crisps, like their video quality is just, can I catch a break? MKBHD, he makes crisp tech videos, like the quality of his videos is so good, and I just want to like work with him in the sense of just seeing how he does things, learning the video editing process and stuff like that. And in terms of like collaborating with on like a project, I like to make stuff. They are actually the inspiration for me starting this thing. Like I watch their videos all the time. They just make stuff like very DIY, hands-on, whatever they think of. It's mostly woodworking, but they do put some tech in there as well. So I'd love to work with them. Carl Halden, he's also kind of does something similar to what I do, just writes about text, programming. Just love to collaborate on projects with them.
So I asked you earlier, if I were to start my journey in tech tomorrow, I asked you for advice. What advice would you give to someone who's starting YouTube or their own project?
Whatever it is, maybe YouTube, whatever it is, just start. The first one will suck. The first one is going to be horrible, right? The first video. Please don't go all the way down to my first videos, and so don't.
That's a fair point.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that man is. If I see him in the street, I'm not going to know who he is. But don't like.
We're far
it's just
removed now
exactly
from that person.
Yeah, it's just like the first one wouldn't be as good, but the other ones, that's okay. And with each gradual step, you get better. You get better. We get better, right? With each video, try to make something a little bit less sucky than the first. Maybe the audio. Try to make the audio better. Then maybe try to make the video better. Then maybe invest in a better camera. Just little things starting. And second advice is don't think about what anyone thinks. I'm kidding you.
Don't give a fuck.
2 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to stand here and shoot this video with all these people looking at me.
And we spent the entire day.
We literally have. So you just get in this point where you realize that a lot of the things that you're like, oh, what will this person think? Or what will that person think? Is all in your head.
It doesn't matter.
Literally, like they don't really, you're not that important to them for them to have an opinion on what you're doing. So just do your thing and you will naturally attract people who like your stuff, and that's pretty much it.
On the opposite end, what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten in life, in general, no matter what it has to do with? What was the best piece of advice you got?
It's mostly been about just finding my happiness, finding what makes me happy and doing it, because that's all that matters. If it's family, spending time with them. If it's work, just finding a passion you do. And I think someone said something recently that I very resonated with. You don't have to be good at what you like doing. You just have to like doing it. So your hobbies, you don't have to be good at your hobbies.
You don't have to be good at what you like doing. You just have to like doing it.
Yeah, like you don't have to be good. Like,
I need to take a second.
As far as you're doing it, like as long as you're doing it and it's giving you joy, that's all that matters, right? So just find that thing, whether you suck at it or not, just find that thing that brings you joy and happiness. It could be chilling with people. It could be doing some form of sporting activities. Just do it and try to be the best version of yourself. And
keep it going. On that, in a couple of days, I'm not sure when this is going to release, but in a couple of days, it's National Happiness Day, like National Day of Happiness. So what are the top 5 things that make you happy, truly happy?
Top 5 things that make me truly happy.
In life,
first one is family. So just chilling with family friends.
Big family man.
Big family man. Being around people who share that energy with me. The second is food. I love good food. I am a foodie.
You're African.
She said I'm African. I am African. I love food. Next is what I do. I like tech. I love what I do. I like the computer, like just that whole ecosystem of, hey, how can we design this to do this or I can do that. I love that. Makes me happy doing it. Next is conversations with people. So conversations with people that open my mind. We're used to seeing things a specific way, just our perspective, our mindset. But imagine hearing from someone who just says, "Hey, have you ever thought about it this way? That's not the way you think." I love that. It's just you're living, right? You're seeing life from other people's perspectives, and you're learning. And
that's 4 things that can make you happy. Let's put the last one as one thing that you're grateful for.
one thing I'm grateful for, life, honestly. I'm grateful to be alive. That's like, there's so much happening in the world right now with things that's happening, and you don't know where you're going to be, right? At any point in time, anything could happen. And so I'm just grateful I'm alive. I'm grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for what I have, and for
And what you are.
and
Yes.
what I am, yes. And I'm grateful for the ability to be able to do what I do, which is tech, and share it with everyone.
I love it. I love it.